Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ruby Summer Rose Court. To recap where we left off last time, we returned from a great victory in Spiritus Bellatorum. We had defeated the Alpha Grimm, the spawn of the new Chimera hybrids in that realm, and then we were spending a romantic, quiet evening in the castle until... dun dun dun. A new Alpha Grimm was laying siege to our castle and spawning Grimm inside, and we got really close to ending up with a bad ending, I feel, but we managed to avoid that, and Crescent Rose made her debut. She is an actual sentient being, and she actually took control over Ruby Rose for a while until she was knocked out by Yang, and so we have ended Act 2, and now we are starting Act 3. So let's dive right back in. The little drool, oh my god. I wake up in my bed. The sheets are on the floor, kicked off in the middle of the night, and I'm sprawled uncomfortably on the mattress. My head throbs, my mouth tastes like spoiled milk, and I ache all over. Another nightmare. Rolling over, I blink a few times to try to clear my eyes of sleep. That's when I see it, a wavering ripple of light over my closed door. I sit up in a panic, heart pounding in my head. Oh no. That's right, it's never just a nightmare with me, is it? Getting up to my feet is a struggle. Every step wavers and I have to pause to catch my breath. Crescent Rose took control of me. I groan, smacking my fist against my forehead repeatedly. Is she still here? I can't feel her. This close to my door, I can see magic glimmering just over the wood. When I twist to look at the window leading outside, a similar barrier hums in the morning light. Glinda probably locked me in here, or maybe Weiss. For everyone's safety. The magic barrier glitters, warm as I approach and scalding hot when I try to touch it. Ouch! So we just saw a purple flash. I think it's definitely Glinda's magic. I shake my hand, singed. Better not try that stunt again. Pacing my room with restless energy, I try to piece together what happened to me. I had the nightmare, then Penny came to save me. Of course she did. Covering my eyes, I stop in my tracks as a sudden piercing headache threatens to split my skull in half. Ugh. There was a Grimm attack, and Crescent Rose told me to go to the throne room, or I thought she did. Then, I swallow a lump in my throat, glancing over at the mirror attached to my wardrobe. I look terrible. She's back. You're finally awake. I hear her, clear as day. It's not like the whispers I'd heard in my head back when I first learned of her, or the overwhelming presence of when she took control of me, but like she's actually here. The mirror flickers. I glance behind me, sensing I'm not alone in the room, but if Crescent Rose is here, it's not in any physical shape. So I approach the mirror, speaking to my own reflection as it wavers and trembles. Sometimes it's my own face in the reflection, sometimes it's something horrific and inhuman. You! I grab hold of the mirror, palms on the edges of the frame. You attacked my friends! They were in my way. What did you expect? Oh, I don't know. That you'd try to help us? That you wouldn't try to ruin my life? You're supposed to be some sort of guardian, aren't you? We're supposed to keep everyone safe. We? You overestimate your importance. All I needed was a fresh body to do what needed to be done. But I'm the queen. We're supposed to work together. Isn't that how it was with my parents? I was never awake to properly meet your parents. What? A sharp stab of agony hits me through the chest, my heartbreak as intense as a sword wound. But a fine layer of dissociation protects me from the worst of it, and I realize it's not my sadness. I'm feeling what Crescent Rose is feeling. The heartbreak passes, replaced with cool indifference. You may be queen, but you are replaceable. You don't have any heirs of your own, but I always have other options. Your automaton friend was built to house me. I might yet strangle the life out of her so that she can fulfill her purpose. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. It would be nice to be able to act directly. The Grimm are an annoyance, but one I can deal with on my own if I absolutely have to. That can't possibly be true. Why? Because it frightens you? Don't disrupt me the next time I attempt to save your life. I might just find it more trouble than it's worth. If she's so all-powerful, then why did she need me to wake her up? Might as well use this time to get some solid answers. Are you really Crescent Rose? When did you wake up? Why did you try to hurt people? What happened the night my parents died? I don't have any questions. In case we don't get to ask all of these questions, I feel like we're gonna have the chance to ask all of them, but we're gonna start with this one. What happened the night my parents died? You have to know something, right? Without an ounce of pretense, Crescent begins to speak, openly mournful. I wasn't awake, idiot that I am, I wasn't awake. I felt them try to wake me, I heard them, Ruby, and I knew them from our dreams together. But I had been asleep for centuries, they weren't strong enough to rouse me. So I guess that means that for centuries before Ruby Rose, every Rose Monarch only had like a small, minuscule amount of power, and that Crescent Rose wasn't actually awake. It's really interesting. And now Ruby Rose is the one to fully rouse her. Yeah, wow. Overwhelming depression threatens to crush me. I couldn't defend them from the Grimm. Or Luna Fracta. My heart clenches, skipping a beat, and I gasp. So it was another spirit who murdered them, not a human? Look at you, learning so fast. Derisive humor bubbles inside me, quickly stamped out by a fierce hunger. This plane is mine, and everything within it is mine. There are some who would contest that. My enemy struck down my roses. Why? To hurt me, I imagine, or to send a message. The most effective way to cripple a spirit is to take their humans. More than anything, I feel betrayed. For so long I had thought that night was just a cruel twist of fate, or a single piece in a much larger scheme against me. It isn't because of me at all, or my family. It was her the whole time. So all this time, this whole mess has nothing to do with me at all. My family, we're just bit players in your drama. Anger chokes me fast, as surely as if Crescent grabbed me by the shoulders and shook me. This has everything to do with you. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Cautiously, a thread of concern wraps around my entire being, pulsing once with loneliness. You're all I have left. This is really interesting. Like, Crescent Rose speaks to us as like nothing but pawns, but she actually does care about us. You know, why would Crescent Rose feel so bad about the loss of Ruby's parents, knowing full well that they probably have a child, which is, you know, another Rose heir? You know, she has this certain indifference regarding humans and the Rose Monarchs, but deep down I think she actually cares, so Tsundere's spirit, I guess, maybe? Are you really Crescent Rose? I feel like we're just gonna get mocked if we ask this. I'm gonna save that for last. Why did you hurt my friends? For the first time, Crescent doesn't immediately respond with something impatient and rude. She's quiet, and for a moment I wonder if she has retreated to somewhere deep inside me. They would have hurt you. It wouldn't have escalated if you had just stayed calm. You made a big mess of things. Explosive anger washes over me in waves like sand-laced desert storms. Ungrateful! You have no idea what I'd do to keep you safe. You don't know the hearts of man and their feverish hunger for power. Unbidden, Ozpin's face flashes to mind. This again. Why do you hate him so much? I've been inside Ozpin's heart. I know the darkness that lies there. He's done nothing but try to help. And look how successful he was. I want to argue, but I can't help but see her point. The state of the city, the ley lines, the menageries. I want to stay hopeful, but the unpleasant seed of doubt has already been planted. When exactly did you wake up? How long have you been sentient like this? The other night, your desperate pleas awoke me. So you really weren't awake before? You sound distrustful. I just don't get it. If you were asleep, how could I hear you before? Or use your powers? Less asleep and more passively aware. I wouldn't expect a human to understand. Then how did you help my parents rule this kingdom? Though she has no body of her own, and so no lungs, I swear I hear Crescent Rose sigh in frustration. Do you not talk in your sleep? Move in your sleep? How did you manage all that if you were asleep? For that matter, how do you breathe in your sleep? And how do you dream? She barely let me get a word in edgewise, but I get her point. That makes sense in a weird way. Since she's not human, I guess the rules are a little different. I don't want to ask this, but are you really Crescent Rose? Would there be anyone else talking to you like this? You really are a terrible Rose. You don't even know what power you have. It wasn't like there was anyone around to teach me. You weren't there, and my parents were gone. I fall into an uncomfortable, sad silence. I sigh. I don't have any questions. Crescent Rose snaps to attention, businesslike and crisp. Good, because I'm done answering them. We need to discuss the future. More than these petty human problems, you need to concern yourself with the true threat. The Grimm and the spirit who controls them. It's a spirit? Oh no. Luna Fracta, the betrayer. Ah, here we go. We are both at risk, and we need to be ready to defend our territory. Oh, now it's we, huh? The little cringe face comes back up. Totally feel it. Do you even listen to the things you say? To my pleasure and surprise, that stumps her. A significant silence follows, before she speaks again. Maybe it's my imagination, but she seems a little more respectful now. You're more bold than I gave you credit for. Gee, thanks. So what is Luna Fracta planning? Can you at least tell me that? It is unclear to me, but I feel it like the pressure before a storm. Very useful. I'm so glad you're awake now. My reflection in the mirror twists, and I see myself roll my eyes even though I know I'm not actually doing it. Give me time to gather information. In the meantime, broaden your own thoughts, and keep vigilant. Rebuild the ley lines. I'm useless to your body if I'm confined here. Good. The last thing I want is for you running around the kingdom using my body. You have no choice. The ley lines must not remain broken. At least, not if you want to stand a fighting chance against whatever is coming. Don't worry, I won't take control of your body. Bitter amusement swirls up around me. That is unless you decide to beg and cry again. Then she goes silent, and I'm left alone with no thoughts except my own. Still exhausted, I settle back down onto my bed and rest a while. A few hours later, I hear the doorknob slowly turning. I look up as the door slides open. Excitement wars with trepidation. Who could it be? Rose, you're awake. I'm relieved to see Glinda, with Zwei running in small circles around her heels. I run up to the door. Heat warns me not to get too close, the protective wards still in place. Glinda looks down at me over the rim of her spectacles. You are Ruby Rose and not the other one, correct? I keep a careful distance away and try to appear as non-threatening as possible. Yes, Glinda, it's me. I gesture to the field of solid light between us. What is this thing? A barrier I set in place. Where is everyone else? They're about. Probably a bit wounded, I guess. I pause. How long was I out? Just 3 days. 3 days? I cradle my head in my hands, the sudden headache making more sense now. How did I don't feel worse for wear, other than a little soreness. I tried to have a servant care for you, but you were untouchable. Anyone who got too close walked away with a good amount of scratches. Oh no. Is anyone... No one's dead, miraculously. What about the attack? What are we doing about rebuilding? She looks at me strangely, her expression trying to mimic concern and only coming up with open mistrust. Then she waves her hand and the barrier falls down. Zwei yelps happily and runs to me, hopping up on his hind legs for attention. Oh, Zwei, I missed you, boy. I bend down to give him a hug and a belly rub before I hear Glinda clearing her throat for my attention. Red-faced, I stand up straight and step closer to her, not sure what else to do. What next, Lady Goodwitch? What's the state of my kingdom? You don't need to worry about that. But I was unconscious. I need to know what happened during my absence. Just get some rest, Your Majesty. I think I've rested enough. Maybe a walk would do you well then. Get some fresh air. I want to argue with her, but I get the feeling it's not a suggestion. Okay, I guess I'll just take Zwei for a walk. For a while, Glinda hovers after me, perhaps waiting for me to unleash my hellish powers on the unsuspecting populace. But eventually other, more pressing matters come to her attention. With a single lasting glance, she leaves me to my own devices. As soon as I step out into the open air, Zwei zips away, barking and chasing after a crowd of pigeons. Where do I go? Where is Penny? Where is Penny? Not in the dragon pen and... maybe somewhere in the castle. If Sershni is anywhere, she's probably somewhere isolated. Okay, my hunch proves correct, and what's more, Weiss seems to have set up shop here. Maybe to study more of those secret hallways? She's such a nerd. Awkwardly, I hang about in the entrance, wondering if I should say something. Weiss is holding up a map of my castle, running a hand through her long white hair. She looks bedraggled, exhausted, with dark circles under her eyes. Weiss. Sershni's head jerks up. Ruby! For a brief second, she flashes me a genuine warm smile. Then her hand clenches instinctively into a fist. Oh boy. She crumples the schematics in her hand as she turns paler than usual. Her expression cools in an instant, flash freezing to a careful neutrality. Your Majesty, I was not expecting to see you up and about so soon after your confrontation. Oh, I see. She's trying to keep her emotions in check. For a moment I thought she would get mad at us. I'm fine, Weiss. Are you okay? She averts her eyes. It is good you're unharmed. I step forward, relaxing just a bit to see she seems fine as well. The hallway is in complete disarray. Weiss's fastidious notes are scattered all over the floor. It looks like a Borba tusk ran through here. I bend down, picking up a raw dust crystal from the floor. She turns, not facing me. I'm preparing my knights to begin an expedition outside the kingdom walls. What? Why? We're going to help Ozpin set up and defend the ley lines. They're linked inextricably to your control over your power. This was Ozpin's idea? No. Sir Saphir suggested it once I brought her up to speed. Cold blue eyes focus sharply on me, suddenly hot with unprecedented viciousness. All of my knights know of Crescent Rose. I took it as a matter of personal safety after your outburst the other night. I nearly crumple, cut down to size by just a few words. Sensing it, Weiss's eyes widen and she bows. Your Majesty, forgive me. Covering her face with one hand, Weiss strides away as fast as she can, refusing to meet my gaze any longer. Weiss deeply cares about her knights and the fact that her own monarch that she serves, that they all serve, poses a threat to all of them. Like, what a sense of betrayal, I guess. She's moving her knights away where they will be safer from Ruby, and oh god, that hurts so much to think about. And I'm not trying to romance Weiss in this playthrough, but I still really care about her, and this sucks that we seem to have lost her trust for now. Let's check on the library. There's only one person in the library. Blake? It's not the person I was hoping for. Oobleck? Yeah. Ruby, I trust you are feeling better? As I understand it, you caused quite a commotion. You are well? I've been better. Have you seen Blake? Yes, I have. She asked me to give you this. He hands me a folded piece of paper. I unfold it and read in Blake's careful handwriting. Ruby, I can't stay in the castle right now. Don't try to find me. Blake. Wow. Did we just push away all of our court members? Oh no. Do you know where she is? I'm not going to follow her. I just want to know that she's safe. I don't. I'm certain she'll be fine, and that she'll be back before long. When did she leave? 2 days ago. And you haven't heard anything since, huh? Didn't think so. Shoulders slumped, I leave the library. So that's 2 court members gone. Is Yang gonna be missing too? Check on the dragons. She's here. Alright. When I arrive in the stables, Yang is already there. I watch her tighten the last strap on Ember's saddle and tickle her under the chin, getting a long slurpy dragon kiss as a reward. Nice to see some things never change. Hey Yang. I can see every muscle in Yang's back tense for a second. Then she turns, still petting Ember, and smiles at me. Even she's kind of afraid of us. Man. Oh, this sucks. This sucks. This really fucking sucks. Ugh. Our own sister. Hey, Ruby. Good to see you out of bed. Something's wrong. She's smiling and she seems happy, but her smile doesn't really reach her eyes. You heading out? Yeah, Weiss needs some extra hands with the ley lines, and I wasn't doing much. She smiles again, and there's a flash of the girl I grew up with. Are you doing okay? It's just been a weird couple days, you know? The portals, Grimm getting into the city, Crescent Rose throwing a hissy fit. I can't help but wince at that part. I can still see a few half-healed scratches on her arms where vines attacked her. And look, I don't want to worry you. A little late for that now. Yang shrugs and sighs, leaning back against Ember as she scratches behind the dragon's neck ridges. Fair enough. We got reports of people getting sick around the city. Just a few after the attack, but there's more every day, so, well, the docs don't know what to make of it. Great. As if the Grimm weren't bad enough, a plague is the last thing we need right now. Sorry, I gotta get going. Commander Schnee will never let me hear the end of it if I keep her waiting. I watch her leave, unable to say anything. Once she's gone, my legs buckle, and I fall back against the stable wall. Not sure what I expected. I just hoped, even with everything, that Yang could make it better, like she always does. I stare at the ground and sigh, sliding down to the floor and pulling my knees up to my chest. So what am I supposed to do, when the one person who always makes me feel better is the reason I'm feeling bad? Sitting down on one of the castle steps, I pause to take a breather. My whole body is sore, but the idea of going back to my room again sends chills down my spine. I find lunch and crisp, cool water to drink as I think of where to go next. I want to see the extent of the damages, and maybe see if I can find any of my friends, assuming they don't run away screaming at the sight of me. We can either walk the castle walls, explore the castle, go to the gardens, or climb the tallest tower. You know me, I'm gonna try and find Penny, and so I'm just thinking of where she might be. Penny was actually really afraid last episode. She might be trying to, like, find solace somewhere quiet. That's either in the tallest tower or in the gardens. But Pyrrha might be in the gardens, so tallest tower? My feet carry me up to the southern side of the castle. I'm not even sure where I'm going until I thump into the door for the tallest tower. Rubbing at my head, I swing the door open. Maybe what I really need is just some time alone. Seems that's what everyone else wants, anyway. Sighing, I step out onto the landing. I make my way to the edge before leaning up against the crenellations and staring out at the city. Everything looks so small up here, but I can still see the damage from the Grimm attack. Burned houses, chunks of stone torn free from the walls. Hello again. I whirl around. Oh, it's Pyrrha. Okay. Not the one I wanted to see, but... Pyrrha is sitting against the other side of the tower, holding a blade in one hand and a whetstone in the other. Oh, sorry, I didn't think anyone was up here. She smiles up at me and sets her sword aside. Only me. I can leave if you want to be alone. I mean, it is your castle. No, sorry, I just thought... I flail about for an explanation, and out of the corner of my eye, I spot a bedroll leaning up against the wall. Now that I'm paying attention, it almost looks like someone's been camping out up here. There's a few extra blankets, a lantern. You're sleeping out here? I spent too many years living underground. It's nice to sleep outside after that. That makes sense. Believe me, you'll never see the sky quite the same way again. But that's not really important. Are you doing alright? It takes me a second to answer. Pyrrha, I almost killed half my court. Weiss and Yang will barely talk to me. Blake's gone, and... Pyrrha gives me this sad little smile. Sighing, she leans back against the wall and pats the stones next to her. Do you want to talk about it? Part of me just wants to leave. I'm not really in the mood for a heart-to-heart, but at least she's not asking me to go away. Giving up, I take the seat next to her and lean back against the stone wall. It's just... I hurt my friends. They're angry and scared, and I deserve it. I feel like I'm a monster. I hear her scoot closer, and then an arm wraps around my shoulders. I know monsters better than anyone. You are not one of them. Even if I'm not, I'm still responsible for unleashing one. You were the one who convinced me I wasn't responsible for the Chimera. No matter what Crescent has done, you don't deserve to bear that guilt any more than I do. And you're back now. That's what matters. I have faith that you'll find a way to control this. You already helped save my people. I trust you. I can't help but think about Glinda sealing me behind a barrier, about Blake's letter, about Weiss and Yang riding off on distant patrols. You might be the only one who does. The others feel the same way. They believe in you as much as I do. They just need some time. Okay, thank God we have the chance to explore more. Penny? Penny, where are you? Nora. Okay, so both of my initial guesses are wrong. I find Ren and Nora in the garden. More accurately, Nora leaps on me before I properly enter, a rose in hand, some dirt clinging to its thorns. My head aches for some reason, but it isn't impossible to think around it. Ruby! Ren approaches at a much more sedate pace, but the calm air he has is ruined by worry lines and a too sharp gaze. How are you feeling? Like I'm dreaming. A little pain too, but nothing serious, I think. Does that apply to Crescent Rose too? I'm surprised at him cutting to the quick. Then again, they're already familiar with this kind of thing, aren't they? Reassured, I relax, if only a little. I guess, we did talk a bit. And? She's not going to take control anymore. Not forcibly, at least. That's great! Is it? There wasn't any reason for Crescent Rose to say what she did to the others, but I don't know what else she might decide to do. Hey. He waits until I look at him. We'll figure this out together, alright? Yeah, we're with you every step of the way. Aw, thanks, Nora. Thanks, you too. Anytime. Penny! At this pace, maybe we should try and save her for last? Huh? Where would she be? The castle walls or explore the castle? Maybe walk the castle walls first. The walls took a pretty heavy beating. As I pass through the courtyard, I can see whole chunks are missing. Soldiers and volunteers from the city are picking up the pieces. I search their faces, not sure what I'm looking for until I can't find him. We're looking for Jean. I hope Jean's okay. Spurred on by the thought, I ask around until I find his location. Jean is on the castle walls, fiddling with a broken gate. Relief breaks in me at the sight of him, and I have to squash the urge to run up to him. Jean! His head twitches up at the sound of his name. Turning towards me, Jean blinks a few times before a big grin dawns on his face. Ruby? You're awake! He jogs my way, stopping a respectful distance away from me. Thank goodness, John is still acting normal. John smiles down at me with open relief. I was so worried about you. He bites his lip and glances around us, noting that we aren't alone. Your Majesty? I always mess this up. I read that exactly in his voice. That's great. I laugh, covering my stomach with both hands. This is nice. This is... Thank you, Summer Rose Court, Jean, for giving Ruby a moment to laugh. That's so nice. I love her smile. It's so pure. Call me whatever you like, Jean. I don't care who hears. I'm just glad to see you're okay. Oh, so pure. Oh, okay. Not really a fan of Lancaster from the show, the canon show, but I'm kind of digging SRC Lancaster, and I thought I'd never say that. So, mad props to the writing. That's really something. I wander through the castle, hoping to find Penny. Yes! I even go and check in my closet, knowing she hides there sometimes. In the hallway, the tapestry is pulled back to expose the secret stairway. Indistinct sounds echo up from below. It's the bay! Oh my gosh. The lab in disarray, tables and shelves stacked up and shoved to the edges of the room. Penny stands among the mess. Oh, Ruby! I knew I sensed you were awake. She pauses in the middle of dragging a table across the room. What's going on, Penny? I hit a lot of civilians down here during the attack. I had to make room for them, but now that everything's safe, I want to get the lab back to the way it was. How are you doing today? I'm okay, I guess. Crescent Rose is quiet, if that's what you're asking. That's good to know. I gesture at the table. Would you like some help? Penny stands up straight and looks me in the eyes. I appreciate the offer, Ruby, but I have to refuse. I don't think Crescent Rose would like that. No, don't ruin this for me, no. But maybe, I mean, Crescent Rose isn't in control right now, though. Still, she could have destroyed me. I don't want to make her angry. I like being alive. I'd like to keep doing it. So I'm sorry, but please go now. I turn and leave. The noises of moving furniture don't resume, and I can feel Penny watching me as I trudge back up the stairs. Oh god, this sucks. This episode is just like a giant knife just plunged into my heart and twisting it slowly and slowly. Jean is the only person to have given us a positive reaction. And that's great, and that's really wonderful. And I cherish it and I value it a lot, but there's so many other people that we care about that are just utterly terrified of us. It really sucks. The only people treating me oddly are the court members themselves. Wherever I walk, I'm greeted with the same amount of cheer as usual, if not more so. Glinda's been telling people I helped stop the Grimm attack, but not how. I don't know if that's for the best, but I'm also not sure how I'd handle an entire castle treating me like a hornet's nest. Lost in thought, I barely notice when one of the castle guard runs up to me, snapping a quick salute and telling me my presence is requested in the throne room. Right at the heart of Crescent Rose's power. Of course, just where I want to be right now. Dragging my feet, I make my way to the throne room. My stomach roils with every step. What if Crescent Rose is stronger near the throne? What if she has an easier time taking control? What if this time I can't come back? What if... My head runs into something soft and I look up. I'm at the double doors to the throne room. Or where the doors should be. It looks like someone replaced the doors with a hanging tapestry. I can't help but shiver. Just the memory of them splintering like driftwood under the Alpha's claws sends chills down my spine. Steeling myself, I push past the tapestry and step inside. A shudder of anger rolls through me at the sight of Ozpin and Glinda near my throne. Usurper. How dare he stand so near the throne he stole? I look around, nervous that the two of them might have heard. Did I say that out loud? No, child. What? Crescent Rose? Did I say that out loud? Isn't it obvious? You and I are one, little Rose. My thoughts are yours. Surely you picked up on that from that failure, Lanzahua. Yikes. Oh no. Oh no no no. Calm yourself. Try not to act so alarmed in front of the others. After all, if they knew I was still here and still so active, well, who knows what they would do to keep you in line. You're ruining my life. I want to say this. Shut up and do as I say, Crescent. Not a good thing to say. Let's try to appease her a little bit. Just play nice, please. If you and I are really connected, it's in our best interest to cooperate. As long as you and I are attuned to each other, Ozpin can't take you again. Don't be so sure. I'll make sure, just as long as you behave and stop acting out. Deal? Well, she doesn't argue anymore, at least. I shudder, and a bead of sweat rolls down my neck. I look up to find Ozpin and Glinda eyeing me with concern, waiting for me to speak first. Looks like no one heard that except me. Talk about small favors. Hello, Ozpin. Good day, Your Majesty. I wanted to say I'm sorry. Before I can finish, Ozpin steps towards me, shaking his head, and every time he moves closer, the more my stomach writhes. There's no need. Ozpin, I tried to kill you. No, Crescent Rose tried to kill me, and I'm not all that surprised. It's not the first time. Not the first time. He leans heavily on his cane and waves at himself, gesturing to his haggard appearance. Crescent Rose was not pleased when I had to hold the throne in your absence. It's anger. Her. I blurted out suddenly. Ozpin blinks in surprise, then smiles gently. Her anger at me is not in any way your fault. He gives me what's probably meant to be a reassuring smile, then moves back to Glinda. The further he gets from me, the better I feel. By the time he gets back to the throne, the pain is gone. Wonderful! Now I can't even talk with my advisor without Crescent acting up. We've gotten what help we can from the other planes. The Grimm are organized enough to attack us right at the center of our city, and Crescent Rose is awake. So, what's next? Well, we started working on the ley lines while you were unconscious. I know. I ran into Weiss. She told me. Good. Hopefully we can repair the ones which have fallen into disarray. The tighter the land is bound to Crescent Rose, the more protected it is. So far, most of the Grimm attacks have focused on the city, but this should keep them from turning on the outlying provinces. I also heard some people in the city and surrounding areas were getting sick. Until recently, victims of a Grimm attack rarely lived to tell the tale. So now that we're putting up a better fight, we have more survivors, who then quickly succumb to this new illness. We solve one threat only to be faced with a brand new, unprecedented problem. Great. If it were only that. There are people falling ill who have never engaged with the Grimm at all. Meaning? We can only assume it's spreading from person to person now, rather than Grimm to victim. So we've got a contagious disease in our city. Oh no. Glinda clears her throat, cutting Ozpin off. He turns and gives her a look, and there's a split second of unspoken conflict. Then Ozpin sighs and looks away as Glinda turns back to me, her jaw set. Whatever the argument was, it looks like Glinda won. There is another matter, although perhaps this is the wrong time. Is there ever a right time? Well, whatever it is, I can handle it. Agreed. You need to stop coddling her, Ozpin. Glinda looks to me. The Catafaunus sent an envoy. That's good, right? Actually, that's amazing. They've always been isolationists. If we can get them to work with us, that's one more group helping us fight the Grimm. An alliance with the Kata might end up making you more enemies than friends. As it stands, they want a ball. A what now? Ruby, there's a lot of bad blood between Beacon and the Kata Faunus. Asking for a formal dinner, and I think they do want an alliance, but they want it on their terms. Ah, so a ball, as in the, formal, like, dinner/dance party. Okay. They want to be treated as political peers, the same way we would host a delegation from Mishklas. Sounds completely fair. Is that really a good idea? With the Grimm attacks and the sickness, maybe a big expensive party would look a little callous? Yeah, Ruby's got a point. I was gonna say selfish, but yeah. Perhaps, but they're not wrong. If you want them as your allies, you need to show that you value them. I'll try to make it as painless as possible. A dinner? A ceremonial dance between you and a trusted council member. And that's it. I got so excited when I read that. Man, the ease that this game has with just like throwing my emotions from like corner to corner, it's amazing, really. Thank you, Glinda. Wait, a dance? It is a ball. His voice is low with good-natured humor. Of course, you will need to think about who you want as a partner. The person I care about most comes to mind. Glinda? Why is Glinda an option? Oh no. I feel like this is like just like this really random Easter egg thrown in, and Glinda is just not gonna take it whatsoever. I don't know. Penny, Ren, Pyrrha, Nora, Jean, Yang, Blake, and Weiss. Obviously... Penny. Wait, before you say anything, I'd like to dance with Penny. If you're trying to offend me, you've merely come across as petulant. I know you've tried to scare her off. Don't talk to me about looking petulant. Crescent Rose doesn't answer me, but I feel waves of tension in my bones radiating from the castle walls. Ozpin adjusts his glasses, and we share a glance. It seems he felt it too. The automaton girl? Penny, yes. After all she's been through, I think she deserves to come. I'm afraid she's not an option. What do you mean she's not an option? Why? Why? Because she's not technically a court member. Well, let's make her one. I'm the queen. I can do whatever I want. Glinda. She lacks any affiliations whatsoever and has not been introduced to the wider political spheres in the city. Nobody outside your court really knows who she is or what she represents. The primrose does not belong among my garden of true roses. I still want Penny there. I'd like her to be introduced formally, and she's totally neutral, politically. Choosing her as my partner would show I'm not considering any one plane above any other, including my own. Plus, she's made of steel, so she'd be a good bodyguard for the evening. Ruby? Even so, she's far from a safe choice, Ruby. Maybe, but she's as valid a choice as anyone else on my court. Does she even know how to dance? Yeah, that was my other thing. I don't know how to dance. I'll teach you. Really? But I'm still not sure if anyone will want to dance with me. Well, nothing needs to be decided right this instant. We have time before the Kata delegation arrives. It will give you time to think over your choice of partner and practice your dance steps. In the meantime, get some rest. I imagine you could still use some. I can hear the firm, "this is not a suggestion" tone in his voice. Nodding to the both of them, I excuse myself and head back out into the hall. You know, maybe having a ball is a good idea. It would give everyone a chance to relax. It has been pretty chaotic lately. Well, like Osmond said, I have some time. And it's not like the kingdom will fall apart in the time it takes them to get here. Oh, when you say it like that. Alright, as we are approaching the 1 hour mark, I think this is a great place to take a break. This episode, this game just keeps on getting better and better. Like, and this isn't to say that the beginning of the game was bad. It kind of had like this slow, steady tempo, and that's fine. But like ever since then, things have gotten more risky, the stakes are getting higher, more characters are introduced, and they're being developed wonderfully, and I guess it's kind of biased because myself, I'm already familiar with all of these characters, and I have, you know, pre-existing feelings about all of them. But there are some characters from the canonical show, like canon show Jean, I really don't like. I don't like his character at all. And the idea of Lancaster in that show kind of sickens me. But in this game, Jean is actually a great character. And Ruby and Jean's interactions are actually pretty cute. And this is coming from someone who is like ride or die, you know, Mechanical Rose. You know, like that's all I care about, and like, yeah, I'm just getting on a rant right now, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm really enjoying this game, and as I said earlier, it's really funny to see how easily this game kind of like manipulates my emotions, and to me that's just a really good understanding of how to write a good story and like understanding your target audience. So once again, kudos to the writers and creators of Summer Rose Court. I'm having a really fun time, even though this episode was actually pretty flat out depressing, so there's that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next episode of RWBY Summer Rose Court. Until then.
You so fucking precious when you smile. Yeah. Girl, I lose myself up in those eyes.